Coming up on this week's show, we finally get to the story about rice field art, 10 jobs that lead to an early death, 10 incredibly tiny houses, even by Japanese standards, and the heartwarming story of a woman trapped between a commuter train and a platform who is rescued by her fellow passengers. All that and more on this week's episode of Bad Communication.
Today is July 29th, 2013.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the one and only Bad Communication Podcast.
From Nishinomiya, which is just west of Osaka, Japan, I'm Andrew Hawkins.
And from good old Tokushima, my name is Hiroki Matsauchi.
And from Tokyo, I'm Alex Kobayashi.
And today, only the good die young. Only the good die young. You guys Billy Joel fans?
He's alright.
Yeah.
I grew up living kind of close to him. Used to see him around every now and again. He's a pretty nice guy, apparently. I went on his boat once, I think. He actually has a boat, a Downeaster, called Alexa, just like the song. Anyway, how are you guys doing on this lovely Monday morning? Pretty good?
Not bad, considering I just moved.
Yeah, how's your new place, by the way?
Nice.
The walls are very white, although I noticed the same curtains are over your upper right shoulder.
Well, it's going to be kind of in flux. This is probably not going to be the final arrangement.
So I can imagine,
right now I've got a cable from I've got a fiber optic cable that's running 5 meters across the floor so that I can have my computer wired in.
Nice. Yeah, I kind of imagine that your computer's propped up on a cardboard box or something.
No.
Nothing like that. Cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 154 of the Bad Communication Netcast, the netcast all about Japan, and we've got a crap load of stories today. I'm pretty sure we will
dying young in certain occupations.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we won't get to all of them, but we can give it a shot. But first, I want to mention the crazy thunderstorms and flooding and apocalypse that happened in Tokyo last weekend. Well, yeah, I saw it on the news. I saw a string of tweets, people saying oh my god, there's tons of rain, and I didn't think it was a big deal until I saw it on the evening news. People's houses were flooded, huge parts of the city were underwater. What was going on there?
It was just scattered thunderstorms.
Just like a freak thunder shower, huh?
Basically, yeah. I mean, they only lasted maybe 30 minutes over here or something. But it just kept moving, and different parts of Tokyo got showered on. Yeah,
there was this crazy picture that somebody snapped from the top of a building where you see the Tokyo landscape and it's pretty much clear except for this one just giant clump of clouds dumping water on the land underneath. Mm-hmm. There's no serious damage or terrible flooding close to where you live?
Not too bad. I actually checked the weather map on, I think, Yahoo or something, and there were a couple red spots where I guess the showers were really bad.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I saw it on the news, and I was like, holy crap, I hope Alex is all right. Yeah, a lot of people's basements were completely flooded. Anyway, stay dry, guys. Anyway, why don't we jump right into this week's stories. So first up, we have a top 10.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Astronauts report it feels good.
Yeah, so this story comes to us via Japan Crush, and it's titled "The Top 10 Japanese Jobs That Lead to an Early Death." And actually, I don't think English teacher was on the list.
Surprisingly,
I don't know. Yeah, some people might argue with this list. All right, so let me go down the list, starting at the top. The number 10 job that will cause you to die young is a truck driver. I don't know.
For the reasons you might think.
Fatal truck accident?
No, accidents are not a big problem. The risk for truck drivers is the fact that they're so sedentary. You just sit on your butt and drive a truck the whole time.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You develop heart disease and hardened arteries, and
I guess probably you
become obese.
Your food is not the healthiest in the world. Anyway, coming in at
true. You really need to exercise. If you just sit driving a truck all day.
Yeah. This one's pretty different from number 10. Number 9 is a teacher at a public school. So I guess it's not English teacher per se, but yeah, I guess those kids just wear you down or something.
Teachers in general.
Yeah, being a teacher is a stressful job, despite the fact that like public school teachers get pretty much the entire summer off, which in Japan is only 6 weeks. Yeah, it's a pretty stressful job, I guess. Coming in at number 8 is a member of the Self-Defense Forces. I thought that was kind of interesting. I know there are, I don't know, close to 0 casualties among the Self-Defense Force. I mean, people dying in the line of combat.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. This one kind of surprised me a little bit too.
Yeah.
There are no armed conflicts that Japan is actively involved in.
No, yeah. I mean, it's peacetime and it's a defense force, and unless somebody attacks.
But I mean, they do train hard and they do work hard. I've had a couple students who are soldiers.
Yeah, I've had one who wanted to. Guy was jacked. Number 7 is a low-cost carrier cabin attendant. Yeah. I feel bad for those guys. They take a lot of crap. LCCs in Japan are what? Peach, Jetstar. There was one other one that's actually going under. I don't know if you guys read about that. Forgot the name of it. Coming at number 6 is taxi driver. That's probably the same reason as truck driver.
Yeah.
Number 5 is ward nurse. Number 4 is young bureaucrat.
So wait, the bureaucrats that somehow survive have it good.
I guess so.
Because once you become a senior bureaucrat, you're set.
just the young bureaucrats. Well, I mean, I think like any bureaucracy, kind of the amount of work you do as you kind of move up the ladder becomes less and less, perhaps. Number 3, manager of a chain pub/bar.
Manager?
Interesting. I guess because there's like a lot of alcohol associated, perhaps, or
Okay.
maybe, I don't know. Liver damage. Number 2 is IT business subcontractor systems engineer. That was pretty interesting. I don't know. I guess any job in IT is pretty stressful. And the number 1 job that will make you die young in Japan is a salesperson for a large advertising agency.
That sounds like hell.
Yeah, so I know quite a few people who are salespeople for not advertising agencies, but like pharmaceutical companies, for example, and those guys work unbelievably hard. And in addition to just ridiculous hours, they spend a lot of time sitting in a car driving around. Like these pharmaceutical reps, they'll easily drive like 100 miles, 200 miles, 300 miles in a day, just traveling around to all these different hospitals and pharmacies. Yeah, and they take a lot of kind of crap from the doctors and nurses and people who are there selling to. Anyway, so if you want to live a long life in Japan, stay away from these 10 jobs. Anyway, why don't we jump on to the next, not really story, interesting thing that's happening in the world.
Article-ish type thing, I guess.
I put the second one in, yeah.
We did talk about Attack on Titan before, I think.
Which is awesome.
Yes, it's a really awesome and very popular series. And we have a little article from the Asahi Shimbun that talks about the author. His name is Hajime Isayama. And he's actually not a huge bulky guy that you'd imagine him to be, but he's actually kind of, well, scrawny, actually.
It would have been awesome if he actually looked like the giant
Titan.
muscle titan in the series.
I'm the author for Attack on Titan.
I'm the inspiration. Yeah, anyway, sorry.
Yeah, actually, let's see. So, yeah, we already talked about how popular it is, and it's being published on Best Shonen magazine since 2009. And, yeah, anime adaptation and movie coming in maybe a year or so. So it's extremely popular. So the author, Isayama, he's 26, grew up in Hita, Oita Prefecture, which is, I guess, countryside, plains surrounded by mountains.
Definitely, yeah. It's a good skiing area.
Let's see. His history. He lost a lot of matches in sumo tournaments when he was a kid, and he says that he recognized that he was inferior, which you can sort of feel from the actual series itself.
Yeah, the main character, he starts out as like a really kind of pathetic young boy, and the whole idea is like his progression to actually somebody who can do something about his pretty shitty situation.
Yep. He's a growing character.
Yep.
Anyways, it says that he longed to escape somewhere where the sky was bigger than the narrow view from his hometown, which really sounds like the manga itself.
Yeah.
And he says that I adore the strong. I had this underlying desire to change my physique. And then there was a interesting incident that happened when he came to Tokyo after chasing his inspiration for manga. He was working at a internet cafe. A customer grabbed him by the collar, and then he said, "I felt the fear of meeting a person I can't communicate with," which again, Titans.
Yeah,
you can't communicate with.
This is really, it kind of adds a whole another level of depth to the manga and anime. I don't know. Just to give anybody who has no idea what the hell Attack on Titan is, it's a Japanese series. I guess we can give away the beginning of the story since they
the premise and stuff.
So it's pretty much all of a sudden, we don't really know why, all of these giant human-like creatures appear, and they pretty much just like completely obliterate humanity. And like the last bastion, the last stronghold of humanity is behind these three walls.
Mm-hmm.
And the story starts with this big old Titan. What is he, 60 meters or something? I think the wall is...
I can't remember. Really, wall
is
huge.
50 meters, and he's 60 meters. He just looks like a giant ball of muscle, and he pretty much destroys the wall. It sounds really bizarre, but it's actually really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'd recommend it if you guys get a chance. And like you can see, like a lot of the themes from his life play into the animated series and the manga as well.
Yeah, it's barbaric, it's violent, but it's awesome too.
Yeah, it's really cool, and like the whole mystery, I think, is the thing that really kind of keeps me coming back for more.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, check it out. I think the Japanese title is what, Shingeki no Kyojin.
Yep.
What does Shingeki translate into?
Counterattack, I think.
Is it like advancing? No, counter.
Yeah, something like attack.
Right.
I think it's a special attack, whatever.
I had no idea. I asked my wife, and she had no idea. Anyway, why don't we jump to the next segment, which I think is a pick. Hang on a second. Let me just play the sweet music. It's all you.
Welcome everybody to the pick, which we see this just about every year in Japan, and this is artwork done entirely in rice fields.
Yeah.
And
oops, sorry.
they're very simple ones, like the one I was involved in when I lived in northern Kyoto, and they're extremely complex ones that look like they've got a bit of calculation to them. But how this is done is it's using different colors of rice plant. There are actually different colors of rice plant other than green. There's black, red, purple, and white.
Wow, this is really cool. This is even better than the ones we saw last year. I feel like the patterns are getting more and more intricate every year.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Wow.
But how this is done is first you make a plan, and then you use string to delineate the sections of the rice field that you plant each color in.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
And for these big ones here, for these super large ones, it looks like they've done some sort of compensation for the angle of the photograph.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed too. So apparently there's like one specific building where a lot of people go to view these rice fields. Obviously, you can't just rent a helicopter or fly up in a plane. So I'm pretty sure they actually designed them specifically for viewing from that building.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, otherwise, like the parallax would make the image kind of look fat or stretched out or something.
Yeah.
These are amazing.
How do you accomplish that?
I don't know. Well, I mean, you could do it pretty easily with some like computer modeling software, I guess. I'm pretty sure there's some.
It's a perspective.
Yeah. There's got to be some like computer aided design going on here to like plot all of these out on like a coordinate system.
I think it's similar to that 3D street art type of thing.
Oh, that would be really cool if they did like a epic like 5-acre version.
Rice field 3D art.
Well, I mean, you've seen the ones like it looks like there's a giant hole in the pavement, like leading out into space or something. That would be awesome if they did that with rice fields. That'd be so cool if it looked like just like a giant meteor impact or something. That's awesome. Well, check it out. This comes to us via News on Japan.
That's amazing, though. I mean, it's one thing to just to calculate the angles and the parallax and be able to find the correct proportions to make it look right from the specific viewing angle. But
right.
Somebody had to go out there and put up string to delineate all of the sections.
Well, I mean, like, for this particular town, it's become like an annual tourist attraction. I'm sure it's worth it for them. I mean, even if maybe the rice is not completely edible, or I don't know how exactly that works, like completely mixed versions of rice or variations of rice. This is pretty cool, and I'm sure it draws quite a bit of money in terms of tourism.
No doubt.
Anyway, check it out, guys. If you want to find out more information about that, it's on our blog, badcommunicationjapan.com. All right, guys, we got to take a quick break, but I do have a little break video that I shamelessly stole from another website, and I will be playing it. Screw you, DMCA. All right, guys, we've got lots of great stories on the other side of the break, so stick around. See you in a bit.
Bye. Welcome back to the Bad Communication Netcast.
Shamelessly stole from another
And
website.
what is it with those silent hands?
I don't know. It's kind of creepy, actually.
Super creepy and foreboding.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's wrong with that video. Anyway, yeah. It's kind of like, I guess, the Japanese equivalent of like the Easy Bake Oven, except there's no oven. Hey, have you guys ever seen that? I think there's a YouTube channel where somebody actually uses like only an Easy Bake Oven to make real dishes. Have you guys ever seen that?
No.
Okay, so you guys,
I believe it, though.
have you ever actually seen an Easy Bake Oven before?
They're just tiny ovens with a high-powered, just a light bulb inside, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's no actual heating element besides the really hot light bulb. I have no idea how those things don't catch fire on a regular basis. It's like a big, giant, massive plastic with a scalding hot light bulb inside. But yeah, anyway, there's this one
Bulbs
channel.
get really hot on their own.
That's true, yeah. Well, hot enough to cook food. So like, there's some, I think it's like a young girl or something. I don't think she shows her face either, or he shows his face. But he actually cooks like real dishes in the Easy Bake Oven. So you'll get like, gratin cooked using an Easy Bake Oven, or like escargot prepared using an Easy Bake Oven. And it's kind of like the kitsch, is that everything is prepared using this ridiculous Easy Bake Oven. Anyway, yeah, if you guys want to check out, those products, head over to Japan and go to your local grocery store. You can buy some of those. There's all sorts of kind of quirky and funky little things like that in the country.
It's super cheap.
Yeah. Super expensive if you buy them out of the country, but super cheap if you buy them domestically. Anyway, guys, we've got a few stories. I don't think we're going to get to all of them. Do you guys have any stories you really want to talk about? I think the train one's pretty good. Do you want to mention that one?
Sure.
You mind taking it?
Yeah.
Okay,
so, where was this? In Tokyo somewhere, I'm assuming.
This is all over the news.
It's all over the news.
Yeah.
A lady slipped in the 8-inch gap between the train and the platform. She got stuck and she couldn't climb out. And so everybody got together and rallied along with the train staff to push the train just enough so that she could get out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't quite as dramatic as some news sources were suggesting. That they didn't overturn the train for her. They just kind of pushed it on its suspension.
That would have been a huge disaster if they flipped over the train. It was kind of an interesting story. So apparently the gap, as you said, is about 8 inches, or what I think 20 centimeters is what they said, which is about big enough for a person to get stuck, I suppose.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of talent, I think, to get stuck in that gap. But hey, it's tons of people. It happens. Apparently, the first attempt to free her was made when the staff asked all of the passengers in the train to move to the other side, to kind of rock the suspension in that direction. But that wasn't enough to get her out. So kind of like in this, yeah, it was pretty cool. All of the passengers, including the staff, rallied together to kind of push the train on its suspension.
Which weighs about 32 tons.
Yeah.
Just the one car.
So yeah, I mean that's exactly what they mentioned in the article. They didn't actually move all 32 tons of the train,
No, they just had to push it on it. They had to rock it on its suspension enough to where they could pull her out.
Right, exactly. It's a pretty awesome story, though. And I've seen similar stories of like people getting trapped underneath cars and people actually getting together to pick up and lift the car. I've also seen construction workers move illegally parked cars before, which is always pretty interesting.
I'm still trying to figure out which station and which line this is, though.
Somewhere in Tokyo. It says for Isogo. Does that ring any bells? Tokyo resident?
I know the train, I think.
Interesting.
Okay, well, it's east. It's JR East, so that would be Tokyo area.
Right.
But it doesn't say anything
Saitama
about
Prefecture.
which line or which station.
There are a couple interesting. So there are a couple responses to this. Some of them included, "This is such a great story. This is really amazing. I'm glad she wasn't injured. What a great sense of unity. I wish I could have been there. I wish I could have helped them give a push." Then the last one is, "Who the heck took this photo? If they have time to snap the picture, get in there and push," which is actually kind of a good point. There's so many people who are just gawkers, and it's amazing how well covered events like this are. But at the same
here
time,
it is. It's a Minami Urawa station.
Well, be careful. As they say, mind the gap.
Yeah, and some of the stations that lay on the curve, like the station that used to be my home station, there's always a spoken announcement that says there's a little bit of a gap between the train and the platform. Please be careful.
Right. Yeah.
Because when the train tilts, it increases the gap.
Yep. So be careful when you guys ride the trains.
Be careful if you ride the trains in Spain, you might get killed.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so taking a curve that was supposed to be taken at 80 kilometers an hour at, 190 kilometers an hour is usually not a good idea.
Have you seen the CCTV footage of that, though?
It was painful to watch, though.
That was insane.
So
it almost looked unreal.
I mean, it's like watching a car wreck. It's so terrible to watch, though, when you think about all the people who died.
Yeah.
On that train accident.
The way it rolled.
Yeah, it was so bad. Well, I mean, at first I thought like, oh, maybe something happened with the track, until I kind of listened to the story, and they're like, oh yes, this curve was meant to be taken at 80 kilometers an hour.
And the guy had previously bragged on his Facebook about how fast he drove his trains.
That's so goddamn stupid. What the hell's wrong with people?
I'd read a previous article said that he wasn't talking.
Oh.
I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't be talking either if I was in his position.
He died, right?
No, he was in the hospital.
What? He survived?
Injured. Almost everybody on the train was at least injured.
If not killed outright.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. It was a horrible train accident in Spain.
How many died? Like 70 some or something?
It's a pretty huge number, yeah. I mean, if you watch the CCTV footage, like the train just, obliterates itself. Anyway, don't let us put you off to riding the train. It's still a very safe mode of transportation, statistically speaking, along with skydiving.
When you don't have cowboy operators.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Anyway, guys, I want to jump into maybe just this last top 10 before we wrap up the show. Is that all right?
Sure.
Any objections? All right, last top 10.
Got 2 top 10s today.
Yep.
4,
Top 20.
3, 2, 1. That's an accurate report. It feels good.
Yeah, so once again, this story comes to us via Rocketnews 24, our favorite source of kind of fake news, but hey, it's entertaining. And it's titled 10 Incredibly Tiny Houses in Japan, a photo tour. And, if you walk down my street, I can give you 100 very tiny houses by American standards, but these are even small by Japanese standards. So, yeah, as you guys know, Japan is a very small island compared to the United States. I think it's roughly has the arable landmass of about California, the state of California.
No, much less than that.
Yeah.
It has about the landmass of California.
Oh, okay, so arable landmass would be much less.
Arable landmass is like 11% or something.
I guess so. Yeah, that would make sense since most of it's like mountains. But yeah, so space is, needless to say, at a premium. It's amazing. Like if you ever want to build a house in Japan, the most expensive part is actually just buying the land. So once you buy the land, you're pretty much all set. Houses are comparatively cheap. It's the land that's expensive. And it's funny, when people move, when they buy land, if there's a house on it, pretty much almost always the first thing they'll do is just bulldoze it. But anyway, building up when you can't build out is nothing new. But when your home is built in an area barely 36 square meters, you need to make every inch count. And the case is the case with this particular house, which is kind of sandwiched in between two other buildings. I'm just going to quickly go down this and show you guys some of the images. It's stunning to see how well they make use of the interior space. Like, these houses look minuscule from the outside, but when you look at them from the inside, they actually look pretty livable. I gotta say, like, most of them seem as big, if not bigger, than my current apartment. So, hell, it wouldn't be such a bad place to live. Some of them are pretty ridiculous, though. More like artistic masterpieces than actual places where you would want to live. Like that concrete bunker-ish looking thing. But these are really cool. I don't know, have you guys ever...
One of them that's got a bookshelf overhanging a two-story drop, though.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean,
how did they get their books off of that?
That's what you do. You just got to like take a running jump and then just grab onto that bookshelf with, for dear life, and take the reading material you want down. This one's kind of cool.
There must be some sort of ladder or extendable platform that I'm not seeing here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people at the bottom of the table, and if someone's upstairs, like, can you toss me that book up there?
Pew! Oh, it's really cool. Like, it's just amazing to see how well these houses use a very, very limited space. And it's kind of interesting, I think this really kind of takes the Japanese mentality of using space to an extreme. Like, in Japan, most rooms, or many rooms, are like multi-purpose rooms. So, for example, let me think. Well, like, in my house, I don't have a bed, so I sleep on a futon, which means every day after I wake up, I actually roll up the futon and put it in the closet, just because kind of keeping it out would take up a huge portion of my apartment. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the room where I sleep kind of doubles as, I don't know what you'd call, like a living room, I suppose, to an extent. But yeah, again, these designs really kind of take that to the extreme. It's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, most houses don't look like this at all. These are the kinds of houses that make it into design magazines.
Yeah, again, these are
on TV shows.
These are small, even by Japanese standards.
But also the interior designs are just way more beautiful than what you'd find
off the wall. Oh yeah, don't get us wrong. There are plenty of really small, crappy houses in Japan as well. Really small, crappy apartments.
I've seen one that looks like number 2, except it utilizes all the land. It's that triangular shape, and it's like in between two streets that are splitting. It's the most ridiculous house I've ever seen.
Oh, it's kind of like the what is the Shirtwaist Company building? No. The famous building
Flatiron.
Yeah, there we go. In Times Square, in New York.
Flatiron? Flatiron isn't in Times Square, is it?
Is it? I know it's on Broadway. Anyway, yeah, tell us all about that. It's kind of cool. I've noticed one of the things that you notice when you come to Japan is the fact that the houses really don't have much in terms of a yard. Have you guys ever seen houses that have there's a fence that goes with one house, and then literally 2 inches away from that fence, there's another fence? So it's like a fence next to a fence, or a concrete wall next to a concrete wall.
So who owns that space in between those two fences?
That is a good question. Maybe the city. I don't know. Anyway, guys, we're getting pretty close to the end of the show, so we got to wrap things up. So thank you, everyone, for watching or listening to the Bad Communication Podcast. If you'd like to find our show notes with links to all of the articles we talked about today, you can find it over at badcommunicationjapan.com. Did I get that right, Alex? Badcommunicationjapan.com.
Well done.
Thank you. Finally getting it. After only 2.5 years. All right, guys. Well, as always, we do have to get the hell out of here for now. So once again, my name is Hiroki Matsuchi.
I'm Andrew Hawkins.
And I'm Alex Kobayashi.
And this is Bad Communication. Bad jokes, good conversation, and as always, the news out of Japan, sort of. All right, see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.